And we are live. Welcome back to a football discussion. Our second episode of On the Pitch. Again, joined by the regulars. We got Ed, we got Lewis, we got Sam.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
It's good to be back.
Look at that.
Very good. Very, very good to be back. Yeah.
In sync. It's almost like we practice.
Maybe we did, maybe we didn't.
Yeah, you'll never know.
I believe that's your interpretation.
Exactly.
Right, we're going to get straight stuck in, obviously. We've got some topics, including Man City losing, we'll get onto that. Man United losing. Is there a potential title race? We're going to talk a bit about Luton, because we mentioned them last week in the relegation stuff. We've got quick fire predictions, which is going to be a new segment, which will be on every show. And we're going to be talking about how I'm a genius in FPL at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, let's kick off.
Let's do it.
Spurs Liverpool. Nothing big happened in this game.
No,
it wasn't even that
quite
interesting.
I'm surprised we're even starting with this.
Liverpool
Yeah.
robs. Liverpool robs.
Right.
I mean,
There's a lot to
nothing's
unpack.
going to happen, is it? So,
I hope not.
This.
well,
This will be one of the best remembered games in recent Premier League
Yeah.
era.
I mean,
yeah.
let's get into it, I suppose. Firstly, because we're not going to talk about the match much, otherwise. Let's just talk about the actual match.
It's just the game of
Yeah.
decisions.
Well, no,
Yeah.
but forget. Let's park the decisions aside for a second. It was a pretty good game of
It
football,
was a good game.
like on the
End to
pitch.
end.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good teams, evenly matched.
Yeah, I thought it was. I was really happy with how Spurs played. I thought Liverpool put up a good fight, even with 10 men
9 men.
as well.
9 men,
Well,
yeah.
they
Yeah.
put up they put up a great fight with 9 men as well. I know they kind of put everyone behind the ball, but that's what you need to
5-4
do.
Formation.
Yeah.
5-3, sorry,
Yeah.
5-3 formation.
Or the
was
4-4,
crazy.
they need to change. Yeah, as a
Okay.
neutral, I actually enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a really fun game to watch. I think both teams definitely cemented themselves that they're going to be fighting up the sharp end of the table come the end of the year. So, I mean, we can't get away from it any longer. Let's talk about the decisions. Obviously,
Darren England.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Would you really say?
Yeah, the Liverpool fans will feel they've been robbed there. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they've literally been robbed of a goal. The Luis Diaz goal
Yeah,
was
yeah.
categorically onside.
Well,
I mean,
still don't know why there was no lines drawn.
Yeah.
Well,
Is that the human
no,
error that there wasn't
no.
a line drawn?
no. The reason the lines weren't drawn, I actually saw this before, is that the VAR assumed that the goal was going to be. They said it was onside, or like they didn't properly review it because they assumed the goal was going to be given by the on-field referees.
Yeah.
So they assumed the goal had been given. So
That's a clear and obvious mistake.
yeah, but it sounds more obviously the VAR officials did the right job, is in they knew it was onside, but the communication isn't there between the on-field refs who go, that's obviously we see the flag go up, that's offside, and then the VAR refs who are saying no, it's onside, but they're not relaying that to the referees.
That's not good enough, is it?
I think it's
No.
Premier League.
Yeah.
The best league in the world, that's not good enough.
This is a big game as well.
Yeah.
It's obviously, I've been a Spurs fan, I've kind of laughed about some of the things, but it is shocking.
Like it sort of felt like first sight it was onside, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it
First,
looked.
you didn't even need a second.
Well,
Everyone sort of.
yeah,
Yeah.
it looked close on the live broadcast,
Yeah.
but it wasn't. It was. I mean, obviously the linesman's had a bit of a shocker, but we've seen linesmen have shockers in the past. At least the fact that you've got it slowed down basically on the line. I mean, the pitches have a straight line on it, so you can see.
Yeah.
You could see from one replay that it was clearly onside. How the communications broke down there is so bad.
Like VAR has made mistakes before, obviously, but I think the one thing that everyone was sort of could rely on was decisions made in regard to like offsides, right? Because you have the lines being drawn, and
It's
it's
objective.
I
isn't
don't
it?
know if
that
you-
has
Yeah.
been sort of.
I don't know if you guys have heard, but Liverpool have requested.
I did see the audio.
requested the audio for the VAR decision.
Oh,
so,
okay. So we'll
but the
see
thing
where
is,
this goes.
but the thing is, though, do you think we'll get to a point where something actually does happen? Like,
No,
No,
but
no.
what do you
exactly.
think, what are they proposing would happen? I mean, I saw
Well, I
something
mean, I
about
think
like a match being replayed. But
That's not going to happen.
completely-
No.
Well,
That's
plus
so
also,
That's a ludicrous
how
thing to ask.
how does that even
or
how
like
does that
changing
even happen?
the
Because-
result of a match, isn't
Yeah,
it?
Yeah.
and like,
Yeah.
if they did that, then what would that mean for the future of the Premier League? Like,
Well,
the same teams
every
would
game would
constantly
be-
There'd be
complaining.
there'd be so many that you can't open that.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
be like opening Pandora's box. I mean, so many decisions have gone against teams in the past.
Yeah.
You know, teams have been relegated over decisions that have been made wrong.
Yeah.
Are we all of a sudden going to see like Preston in the Premier League again?
Yeah, exactly.
Because of a decision that happened 12 years ago. It's just you can't do it for one game.
The Liverpool reaction would make you think that they're the first team to have been wronged by
VAR thing going wrong.
It makes it.
Yeah.
It makes it sound like it's the first ever decision that's gone wrong in a match ever.
It's more that the people who are part of the VAR team need to have a look at their mistakes and start actually doing something about it.
Yeah,
I don't know, I'm not sure how much you guys watch rugby, but they have TMO, which is very similar to VAR,
More
and
efficient, right?
it's so much more efficient. Like you can actually hear the conversations with the
I
referee.
know, I've been wanting that in football for ages.
Yeah,
now, actually.
and it's really like you can understand the thinking of the referees and the communication with the VAR team.
They even did that in the Women's World Cup. I remember there was instances where like you would hear the audio of referees.
Yeah, I
So
think
they're
you're
mic'd
right,
up.
actually.
They were, like,
Yeah.
talking to
You're
them,
right,
and the
actually,
audience would hear it, and I've been wanting that in
Yeah.
Yeah.
football for a while. to be
I think
organised.
I think there's such a like weird kind of like stigma with the refs in like English men's football. There's just like I don't know. There's something like they've got to be because like in the NFL they have a similar system where they have people in New York where they go to and stuff like that. But things are mostly there are wrong decisions made in NFL matches quite a lot, but things are kind of put together, and some rules are kind of like there's a lot of rules like pass interference, for example, which is kind of like offside, where it's not, or like different things like penalties, for example, where it's like it's not a yes or a no, it's kind of like a fluid kind of rule where you kind of have to make your own mind up. And there's kind of different ways. I think it's done so much better in so many other sports, and there's no reason why you can't have like the audio released live, so at least that we can hear decisions that are being made. Or why, as we'll get onto in like red cards, for example, why don't they show them at full speed?
Yeah.
Why does it? I've seen watching the Curtis Jones tackle. So we'll get onto the red cards now. The first one especially. When I watched it live, I thought that's a bit of a harsh red card because it looks like Curtis Jones. He's kind of got control of the ball and he kind of slips. And he does. I think live I thought that's probably a yellow. That was a fair decision. But when you watch it in full speed, he doesn't really ever have control of the ball, and it looks a bit reckless. But slowing that down, it's one of the weird ones where it actually makes it look better. Why can't they just show the replays in full speed?
Yeah.
I don't know. That would be preferable, wouldn't it? That would be better for the referees to see that, because that's what we've all seen.
Exactly. That's how it happens on the pitch. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I do think it was a red card anyway, though.
I'm just
Yeah.
having a look at the highlights. I looked at Curtis Jones' red card. I think it was a red. I think it was a red card.
In the moment, I didn't really know, but like you see it more and you think,
Yeah. The
yeah.
more
it's so
If he
like
actually
that guy's
followed
leg
through,
could have been.
Yeah.
If he
That
followed
could
through
have been a
with
season-ending.
that could have
injury,
been
you know?
like
that's
one of those tackles where you're like that. Exactly.
So I don't think there's any complaining with that one. On
No.
my behalf, but like
It's mental that Liverpool are actually appealing that decision.
they're appealing that.
They're appealing that.
specific one.
Well, I don't think I may be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure you can't appeal 2 yellows.
Probably not.
I believe you can only appeal straight reds. At least that was the rule a couple of years ago, unless
Wait,
that's
is that for the
changed.
Jota
I have a
one?
feeling that was a straight red though, right?
The
Jones one was.
the
Jones
Jones
one
one was
was a straight red,
obviously
and that's the right
Jota's
decision.
were 2 yellows.
Oh, I see.
So I'm pretty sure they can't appeal that. Although that's the one that's more. Yeah, I mean it's the first yellow.
The first yellow
The
is
first
not,
yellows.
Yeah, because Udogie trips himself up.
It's pretty light. I think there is a bit of contact there, not enough for a yellow probably. But then from Jota's sake, why is he making that challenge
There's
when he
no
knows
need.
he's on a
This-
yellow?
he was nowhere near the
That's
ball
the
either.
problem. Is the second yellow is that
Yeah.
that's Jota being sort of
Rash.
Yeah,
there was
and
no need to make it.
how many times have we heard managers say in press conferences and stuff about how players have got to be wary. Maybe it wasn't a yellow, or maybe it was, but you're on a yellow now. You know that.
Yeah.
You've got to be disciplined for the team. They're already down to 10 men.
Yeah, whether it was a mistake or not, you have a professional
happened.
Exactly. Yeah.
responsibility there, and he hasn't.
Definitely.
But yeah, I mean, Liverpool fan reaction it's been a little bit excessive, but like, oh my god, like that game was like overall.
Did you feel like everything was going against them?
Yeah.
Every
Even like the
decision.
little decisions that we don't get to talk about here.
Yeah.
It did feel like Liverpool were getting wrong.
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So that and obviously all the
That
major
happens,
decisions
though.
change the trajectory of the game, and that's yeah.
But it happens. I mean,
That's
literally
happened.
every team.
Every team has.
Yeah,
been-
exactly.
So.
And I think that Liverpool should have at least been down to 10 men. That first red is a red for me, and
Yeah.
it was an even game overall. I think that likely if the Diaz goal stands as as it should have, that it still comes down to a grandstand finish at the end. Just look at how the game was played, even when it was 11v11. The stats were pretty even. You'd say Liverpool
were the better team.
You'd say Liverpool were the better team with 11 men.
Yeah.
I would agree, but you wouldn't say that Spurs looked so bad that you couldn't see them come back into the game. And
like I said at the beginning, these two teams were very evenly matched.
Exactly.
They're both in very good form going into it, and they still look strong. But
Did you guys? I don't know if you guys saw that. Some guy put a £10 bet on the game, and
I have seen that.
If the game ended 1-1, and if Luis Diaz's goal stood, he would have got like £9,000.
That's tough. That's a bad day.
They've got to pay him the £9,000. I can't lie.
Yeah,
he deserves the £9,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he deserves something.
Yeah.
I don't know about £9,000, but like.
No, he just. But that should have been a goal. So.
Share our condolences.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the game's the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah.
Anyway, we're now going to move it on to a topic that's very close to Ed's heart. I know. We're talking about Man City's loss.
Oh, right, yeah. Very, very big game for me there. Very happy with that.
That's it.
Yeah, but it's Man City versus Wolves has always been a weird fixture. Like I always think they always lose.
Wolves beat them before, yeah.
They always lose.
3-2 win, I think.
Yeah, like Pep always struggles against Wolves for some reason. I don't know why. I remember there was that. It was like a pre-season friendly, final of this Mickey Mouse tournament, and Wolves beat Man City in that final, and I was it's a really weird fixture considering Wolves are really are a team that struggle going forward, but
they
look
fair play.
They looked really good in that game yesterday. I think
masterclass.
Yeah, I mean Pedro Neto. He looks every bit.
I've always rated Neto.
Mate, he's so good.
I'm so glad he's come back. He had a big injury, didn't he?
Yeah,
he's come back and he's rediscovering.
He's got to be January's got to be looking like a move to a top 6 club. Potentially.
Maybe.
He deserves it.
Juan He-Chan is looking decent this season.
He's looking good.
You mean the Korean guy?
Yeah, the Korean.
As Pep Guardiola.
As Pep Guardiola said. Yeah. No, like Wolves. Like we saw it we talked about it in the last episode, but the game against Man United, they did lose, but they looked the better team.
So their counter-attack football is really good.
Yeah, it's just the scoring that's been their issue for them. And at the beginning, I thought Wolves could maybe go down. And
yeah, I mean, I definitely had them very low, sort of hovering above.
I think they will still be low, surely. They're not going to. It's one win.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know if this is an anomaly or if they're actually going to kick on or anything.
Yeah.
I would agree with you that they probably will.
Lower half of the table.
I'm just saying if the Bournemouth owners are listening out there, you shouldn't have sacked Gary O'Neill. Look what he's doing.
He's not looking good.
Like he's a good manager. He's doing really well with Wolves.
Especially considering how late in the process he's been brought in. Yeah. Literally like 2 days before the season starts.
Wolves are in a bit of financial turmoil.
Yeah, Wolves are in turmoil.
External issues.
I mean, that's the reason why Lopetegui chose to leave, because they didn't give him the players he wanted in the summer.
Exactly.
He comes in and Wolves are playing. They're playing decent football. I mean, especially everyone thought they were going to be struggling, and they've had quite a hard start. Obviously, they played Man United. I know they've not had the greatest start, but they've still got much better players than Wolves do. Mm-hmm. They've played Liverpool and Man City already. So, I think, I mean, the truth is whether Wolves are really going to be clear of this relegation battle or if they're going to be in it is going to be about how they play against the teams around them. Do they play well against Everton? Do they play well against Luton?
Yeah.
Sheffield United?
If Mateus Cunha starts,
if
he is an incredible player. Like, that guy has so much ability.
Yeah.
He can do everything but shoot at the minute. Yeah. So if he can sort of find his clinical edge, then Wolves, genuinely look like a little bit of a dangerous team.
100. I believe they could. They're kind of one of those teams that if you see them on the fixture list, you never know what kind of team you're going to get.
Yeah.
And I think that if they turn up, they could beat anyone on a day. I mean, they could be a surprise contender for kind of coming in that top half. You never know if they kind of keep pushing on. I didn't expect that's going to happen because I think they're a bit too inconsistent to do that. I think they are going to be more down the bottom.
I think their issue with the goals will probably keep them out of the top.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah,
but I think Man City had a very big off day today.
That is true, and they were missing Rodri as well. Obviously,
I think it was who was their sort of midfield. It was like
Kovacic and Matheus Nunes.
They had no chemistry really together, and I think Kovacic lost the ball. Many times.
Yeah, so. Nunes struggled as well. The fans were getting on him. Obviously, former Wolves as well. So that is a tough environment. Yeah. But I think also we've got to mention how good the Wolves' defence looked as well. Craig Dawson was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, Kilman I rate a lot as well.
Yeah, I've
He's
always
been
really
very-
rated him.
Yeah.
been very solid player for them.
Do you know, Wolves are always just solid, like defensively.
They are, yeah.
They're just a solid team.
That's if they could get their scoring together, they would move up the table so much. Because I mean, you look at their team; they shouldn't really be. If you look at the quality of their players, they shouldn't really be where we're talking about. Are they in a relegation battle? They
No, I
should
know.
be looking more towards like
Europe.
the Conference League places, really.
Yeah.
When you look at their squad on paper, but obviously games aren't played on paper. That famous
Yeah.
phrase. So
It's true.
Is it time for City to worry? By the way.
I don't.
So one loss. I don't.
I
No.
don't-
So this is the thing, right? It's like obviously if you're talking about any other team, it's
Yeah.
whatever. But they've lost 2 games in a row now, which is like when was the last time Man City lost 2 games in a row?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
That's true.
You struggle to find it under Pep Guardiola. I don't think they will.
Oh yeah, they
but
lost in the
I've
cup,
seen this
didn't they? Yeah,
conversation.
they lost in the cup.
Yeah, to
I would
Newcastle.
say
Yeah.
it's not.
Is it just Rodri?
No.
Is it because Rodri's
Okay.
been missing?
I
for
would
these-
say.
I think Rodri is a very integral part of the team. I
Oh,
think he's one of the
Yeah.
best players in the world right now. So
Yeah,
could be. But I don't know. Maybe.
But then they have
Watch
blips
this
every
space.
year. Every year they lose to a Palace or someone, and you're like,
you're
maybe.
right. Yeah, you're right with that. And then they come back and they
They
just
win like
the next
16
team.
games in a row. And you're
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, only reason I said it is because of the 2 in a row. But
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you're right. But I just think,
I'm praying for it. I'm
I
praying
do.
for that
I do
City
think. I do think there's something to it. Though. I mean, obviously, I know Pep. He wasn't in the dugout, but he was kind of at the game. I know they've done well without him, but I think there is. I don't know. It does feel like something different this year, and I think that the teams that could challenge Man City so far, at least, are looking a lot better than it was kind of just Arsenal challenging them last year.
There is
And
that,
you
yeah.
kind of always had it in the air that they were kind of, they weren't the full picture. Arsenal, I'd say they definitely look better on paper, and I think they'll look better come the end of the season again. Liverpool are looking a lot better, obviously.
Yeah.
We'll get onto that when we talk about.
I mean, it's a very like open race.
Exactly,
at the
yeah.
moment, but I wouldn't say there's a standout team for me at the moment. Like I don't think there's someone who's really impressed me. I think Tottenham probably have really impressed me actually in terms of like how they played. Like Arsenal, I think at some points have gotten really lucky this season.
Liverpool have been unlucky.
I'd say Liverpool have probably been the stand. I mean, I know they just lost to Spurs, but I said they've probably been the standout team. I think Spurs. You still got questions around them. I think it's still early,
Definitely.
and
But because we know Klopp.
yeah, exactly. I do think there's something like that.
Liverpool 2.0.
Exactly, yeah. And kind of no one really expected. Well, I mean, I know I did, but not a lot of people kind of expect them to be up here challenging. But how good they look so far, I think.
I mean, I said that Klopp this might even be his last season. So,
but I mean, in fairness, Sab, it could have gone that way.
yeah,
You
but
know,
they seem to have
It
a good
wasn't
season
such an
every other
outrageous
season.
thing.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It's weird. They have a good season every other season. So last season they weren't that good.
Yeah.
Season before they could have won a title if Gerrard didn't mess things up against for Aston Villa.
Yeah.
But, so Gerrard lost Liverpool the title again.
Lightning strikes twice.
And then obviously the COVID season, the season after the COVID season was a bit shaky for them. And then obviously the season before that they won it.
Yeah,
So.
they've been going through a bit of a transitional period in amongst.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think Spurs look good. It's going to be, obviously, we've looked so good early. I mean, I think for us more, it's going to be about how do we look against the team, like how do we look against Luton this week? That's such a trap game. Spurs in the past, I tell you, will lose that game 1-0.
Spurs bottle.
Yeah. If we win that game 4 or 5-0, I do start to look at this team differently, just because of Spurs teams in the past.
Yeah.
It's kind of like if we can cruise through that game, that is a different Spurs team to teams in the past. I'll tell you that for sure.
I'll be honest. For me, it's like I still think City are just going to walk the league. I'm going to be honest.
I agree.
I know it's early days and
No, I
everything, but
agree.
you're with me on that.
Yeah.
I think Liverpool would be the closest challengers, but
Definitely.
for me, like it's like in my head, I'm already seeing them lift.
I'd
their
say-
fourth in a row. Whatever it is,
I'd say
making
City.
history again.
I'd say City are still the clear favourites, but I wouldn't say I expect them to walk it from what I've seen so far.
Fair enough.
But I
if
still
the other
think,
teams keep it up, then
I still think City are the clear favourites. I mean, they're still top of the table as we're speaking right now,
even with that loss.
But that could change. We'll see if people think it will in the
Big
quick
game
fire
next week,
predictions.
isn't there?
Yeah.
And I mean, Brighton were in the top 4 for a while, weren't they? But they had a bit of a struggle. this weekend.
Yeah. Actually, go on.
That was a weird.
Should we have a little talk? That's not.
think we should,
It wasn't on the notes, but why not? We're going off script today.
Ollie Watkins.
Oh, it's
hat-trick.
other matches.
They
Yeah.
lose to Chelsea.
Unai
and that's it.
Emery doing Unai Emery things, I guess.
Yeah.
But the biggest shock was that just how how big the loss
they got, like,
was for
pumped.
Brighton.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think they've got half an eye on the Europa League and that they're not focusing on the league as much?
I think De Zerbi plays very expansive football, which when can go wrong, I guess it leaves you leaves risks or whatever. But
it's always an issue when a team goes into Europe for the first time and then has a lot of games.
Yeah,
we've seen it in the past.
Yeah, we have seen it in the past.
Burnley, West Ham.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I had on my predictions. I had Newcastle finishing outside the Champions League places. I think I didn't have Aston Villa in Europe, and I only had Brighton in like 7th. Some people had them a lot higher, but I was like, look, those clubs are going to care. The fans are going to care so much more about the games in Europe than the games in the league. I mean, we look at. We've just come from a lecture where they're talking about, they've got Brighton on the pages of the local paper, that kind of thing. It's a big deal for the local people in those areas. And, does that kind of seep through into the team a bit? And that, we've got to go big in this Marseille game. And that Aston Villa kind of get pushed to the side a bit.
It was just the manner of the
But it was the manner of the defeat.
Because you could be convincingly beaten if you lose like 3-1 even, depending on performance, but like 6-1.
6-1's a big scoreline,
Like 6, that's like that will be one of the biggest scorelines coming.
Like Villa's a good team, don't get me wrong, but like you'd
think that game would be one of the most even on paper. That's a very even match. And
Watkins just kind of turned up, didn't he? I mean, did Diaby play in that one? Because he
did. Diaby played. He's looked so good.
Fatty got his first goal for Brighton.
For Brighton, yeah.
I mean, not the circumstances you would have wanted to get it.
Now, Brighton are looking very lacklustre in the defensive areas, I think.
They are.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Well, especially because their last goal they conceded was in like the 97th minute, and you'd think, that look. I think at half time it was like 3 or 4-1. You'd think that De Zerbi goes in and look, we're just going to shut up shop. We're not going to concede any more goals. Look, we're losing 4-1. Let's just try and win the second half, And then they go and concede 2 more goals. It's like, I mean...
And they lost to Chelsea in the midweek.
Yeah,
so
that's even worse.
That's probably more embarrassing. That's the matter, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, would you say that this is kind of indicative of anything in the future of Brighton, or do you think this was just kind of a blip, just a one?
I think it's the European pressure getting to them. Like, I'd say losing, I mean, Athens are an okay team, but losing to Athens isn't really great.
At home as well.
They were big favourites in that one, actually.
Yeah, exactly. And they've got a tough group with Ajax and Marseille. So, but to be fair, Marseille do struggle in Europe, so Brighton could go win with that.
I do think it will affect their league form a bit. I reckon they will finish maybe a little bit below where they did last season in the league. Because of the Europa League, but I mean that's not like anything to worry about.
No,
really.
I mean, I suppose it depends how they do as well. I mean, if they finish 4th in the group, all of a sudden their league becomes the primary focus again. I think it could be their league form could go even worse if they drop into the Conference League, because Brighton have a real chance of winning that competition. I think, especially if they go into it.
I mean, I'm just looking at the lineups now, and Brighton had like a lot of options in the front areas. Like, they started Evan Ferguson, but they still had like João Pedro on the bench, and João Pedro is a really, really good player.
I mean, I suppose you could say, I know Milner was out.
No, Fatty didn't start. He came on later, actually. But obviously, a lot of players have been out, actually. But
Dahoud, I think, was out as well.
It's just a lot of like the defence and the midfield just look very lacklustre. And like Jason Steele as goalkeeper, I'm not sure.
I swear
they bought VAR. I don't know why they don't.
Defence has been their
they can't. They're switching the goalies a lot. Arteta was copying De Zerbi, maybe.
I mean, Verbruggen is only 21 years old, so it is always a risk to start a keeper at such a young age.
It takes time to integrate and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
But you'd think surely he's got to be better than Jason Steele.
It's a test for De Zerbi now to see how he sort of responds.
That is true. Yeah,
it's been a high since he's been there.
Exactly. This is we're gonna. I think we're gonna see the real making of him now. Kind of, can he pull Brighton out of this little blip and not make it something longer, or is this kind of gonna?
Do you think there are some Brighton players there who are trying to push for moves, and that might be creating like a toxic?
I don't know. When I see that team, I think of a humble team.
Not really.
You'd hope so.
I think so.
I don't think so.
McTominay is dedicated to the cause. I think that Evan Ferguson is dedicated to the cause. But yeah, I don't know. When I see that team, I see.
I mean,
The
look.
ones that would have.
I mean, look. It's
Like Caicedo. Yeah.
It's Chelsea who.
Yeah.
It's Chelsea's fault for this, but because we signed a lot of Brighton players for so much money.
But you'd hope that the Brighton players would get the picture that going to Chelsea doesn't seem to be the best.
Look at Cucurella,
idea.
yeah. Don't do that.
Cucurella.
Yeah.
Don't do Cucurella. Don't do Caicedo. Yeah. But like,
exactly.
you know, Evan Ferguson has been recently linked with this very big price tag, and he's how old he? I don't know.
18, I think.
He's really young.
Mental.
Players like Estepinian and Mitoma, they're really good players. So I wonder if they're.
I hope they stay. I really do. Hope they stay.
Yeah.
I don't like it when players have like one good season and they just flirt with like the top table teams or whatever. I like to see a project being built. It doesn't.
And
just
also,
last
Brighton are a
years.
top table team at the moment. So
Yes, we maintain it.
Yeah.
It's like when Ajax, like years and years ago, had that incredible team, and then they had their season where they got to the semi-final and then they just sold everyone or whatever. I don't like seeing these. teams have.
But to be fair, that's kind of always been Ajax's philosophy. Some teams are kind of just like that.
But I want to see a big project with Brighton. I want to see.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely could happen. I could see Matoma moving on at the end of this year.
I think
though, if
Brighton
things
have
don't-
become like that team like Ajax and Dortmund, who they produce the players and
Yeah.
send them off.
But
And then
the
sell
thing,
massive
the
profits.
thing about Brighton is though that they keep bringing in players again, either from the academy or even
How long can they do
from
that?
players they get.
Yeah.
No, but if you have the right scouts, that will always be a tried and true
I think
formula.
their scouting is quite good.
Yeah,
I
they'll
think
always
They've got the best and
they'll
they've got best scouts.
there'll always be good young players for you to sign and develop. Like, there's never going to be a shortage of people that want to be footballers that have got the athletic gifts
True,
to do
but
it.
if they want to reach the next step, I think they've got to like hold on to them. And
I
develop
agree,
them to
but
the-
I mean that's a long process. That might take 30 years for
Yeah,
them
yeah.
to like really, but I mean that's how long it takes to kind of build clubs and kind of change people's opinions and thoughts about teams.
Philosophies and-
Yeah, I mean look at Chelsea. I mean even look at Man U. They've not won a league in like 10 years and everyone still thinks that they're this this giant power. I mean,
they
still,
are a giant power,
they
but
still
yeah.
are a giant power in terms of, but
Not on the pitch.
On the pitch, exactly.
no.
In name they are.
Yeah, in name value they are, but on the pitch they haven't been that since in 10 years really since
Yeah.
Ferguson left.
I think you've done a very good link there with mentioning Man United.
Oh, look! I didn't even
segue.
look at that segue
Like
of
it was
dreams.
planned.
Yeah,
Maybe it was.
God.
You never
Yeah.
know.
Tops your
But
interpretation.
shall we talk about Man United though? Like,
We've got to.
Let's do it.
I've got one bullet point because I think it's the only one we need to talk about really. Ten Hag, is his job in trouble?
Oh,
I'm
100%.
starting. I'm saying it is,
100%.
I agree.
and more than in trouble, I think he should be sacked.
Yes, and I think I've said.
Wait,
I mean,
he should be sacked now.
Yeah.
Oh wow! I'd give him longer. I'd give
Yeah,
him
me
longer.
too.
I
said
just
sorry, you go.
I just think that usually I'm like, right, all this, short-termism in managerial appointments, it's not really about on the pitch for my
That's how
reasons.
He deals with external issues.
It's how he deals with the issues off the pitch. It's the Sancho issue. It's the what's going on with Anthony, how he's come back into training and just, I don't know, everything seems so disjointed with on the pitch. I think it could work, but I just think off the pitch.
I think they just got to stick.
That's
with him,
not-
I really
that's
do.
not the man-
Because who else?
Yeah.
Well,
some stability to a club
no,
that's had no stability.
I agree,
No, but I
but
think-
why how could you want that man?
Although I rate Ten Hag as a manager, I think he is a very toxic person.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't want to repeat myself from
Managers
last
realise,
episode because we did talk about this a lot.
We did
last
talk about
episode,
this last week, but yeah.
I think because of his attitude towards things, that will be his downfall.
Yeah.
And obviously you can think back as far as Ronaldo with that
Yeah, he
sort of
goes
thing.
on, and even in his Ajax.
It's very
yeah.
my way or
And-
nothing kind of thing.
But I
Yeah.
think certain managers kind of have that. Like, you look at Poch when he came in at Tottenham, for example, he was kind of always perceived as even Ange, as kind of like these really nice managers who, they kind of build up players and make the best of them. But if they think a player's not good enough or not worth it, they will get rid of them. Like, they're still managers that are like, it's their way or the highway. But there's different ways of doing that,
As I
if
say,
you
yeah.
understand.
You have to be ruthless, but it's how you do it.
I mean, look at Ange. He understood that, for example, players like Ndombele or Reguilon or so, he couldn't get rid of them until like deadline day, for example, and it would probably only be loans. So he's not going to ruin those relationships because they might be there until January.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you look at Ten Hag. That relationship with Sancho is, I'd say it's pretty much ruined.
Yeah.
He ruined the relationship with Ronaldo, which I know it was old, but he was still doing the business for Man United on the pitch.
I'm just looking at Man United now and looking at their bench against Palace. They had Maguire, Martial, and Van der Beek on the bench. Like, why? Like, these are players who any other club they'd be gone. You know?
Yeah.
Like, Deadwood, basically.
You know.
And I mean, they brought in Van der Beek, and Ten Hag clearly had no plan for him ever, because he's never been a big part of that team.
Yeah, I know. Well, that was all the way back with Ranić and Solskjaer as well, wasn't it?
Well, of course, yeah.
Ten Hag's a toxic guy, but he's always like since he's been at United on the pitch. Results have been decent, but now that's being put into question, I think he deserves, from a footballing perspective, I think he deserves time to rectify this first sort of major blip in his tenure.
Yeah, I agree.
If it continues for
I think it's more.
Too long,
I think it's more about the culture for me, and you're starting to see that bleed into the football on the pitch. It's that he can't build a winning culture at Man United, in my opinion, and that's starting to bleed into the pitch. I think more than
players look so negative.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah. Whereas in the past, it was that the players on the pitch were overcoming what was probably still a bad culture.
Yeah.
And I think that when the two start to come together, and obviously I know that Man U've chopped and changed so many managers, and I think there's a lot of Man U fans that want to stick by him, and I understand that. I'm not saying that he has to be sacked or anything like that. I'm kind of saying, in my opinion, I would do that.
And what do you think is going on for them defensively? Like, they've conceded 11 goals this season, which is not.
They've got injuries and whatnot, but.
Well, I mean, Onana's not been great.
No, Onana's been. Yeah, he's not been great. I think
playing Lindelof and who started against
Palace. Amrabat started on the
left back.
Left back. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they don't have Shaw's injured. Reguilon's been injured.
Martinez and Varane seem to be injured.
Malassia's injured.
Yeah. Malacia as well. That's it. So like all three of their left backs are injured. They don't really have anyone to put there.
That's another reason why I would still give him a bit more time, because injuries and whatnot. But yeah, I mean. There's just like no real team cohesion on it.
The amount
of times I see Rashford in on goal and he's like should pass it, and he's just like he's just looking for the goal basically.
Yeah.
That's not what you want to see from a team, from a teamwork perspective.
But there's the situations where they need those goals, and someone like Sancho could be that guy. I
mean, yeah, we've seen Sancho,
we've seen it at Dortmund.
There's a world-class player like buried deep down there.
Deep down, I think.
And now he's just being wasted away.
Well, we saw. Me and Lewis that Sky Sports News have said that it's pretty likely that he's going to be going on a loan move in January, which I think is not a shock to anyone.
But I wonder if that would change if Ten Hag goes.
Maybe
that I think that could possibly. I mean, he was watching. I think it was like the under-18s the other day. So clearly he still would play for Man United. It's more like he wouldn't play for Ten Hag.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
that relationship's just.
That relationship's gone, but I think the relationship Sancho has with the club might still be salvageable.
Yeah. It's just who leaves first, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But for now, the misery continues.
Yeah. Right. I think we'll just quickly touch on Luton, because we touched on the relegated teams last week, and they just won after we gave them pretty much.
Hey, maybe my prediction is staying. Maybe
they are. They are currently outside of the relegation zone.
Hey, well, there you go. See, I was never wrong. I never doubted Luton for a second. No, I mean.
You saw this coming.
Yeah. Visionary, some may say.
Yeah. I mean, there hasn't been much talk about Everton this season, actually. Like, there hasn't been much focus on them. I think Luton
we just accepted that they're terrible.
Yeah. So average.
I think Luton beating Everton is big for Luton, but also Everton losing to them at home is a big thing as well.
It says something about them.
Yeah. I think especially when you look at some of the goals. When you look at the two goals, I think the first one especially was quite an easy one for Everton to deal with. It's one that Sean Dyche is not going to be happy that they've conceded. It's from a set piece.
Yeah.
The ball comes back from the post, and the Luton centre half just slides in and gets it. There's a few Everton players that could have dealt with it that didn't. I think that the more we see of Everton, the more they look like a team that you kind of pencil in to be relegated.
But like on paper, do you call them a relegation team in terms of who they have?
No, but
it's just
every time you look on the pitch, that paper's being ripped up and being thrown in the bin.
They should be beating Luton.
100%. Yeah.
Like,
I mean, they've got some players of real quality, like you Pickford in goal. I still rate the core rate better, who they've just signed, is really good.
Yeah.
Godfrey's supposed to be good.
Supposedly.
Well,
4 years ago.
he's looked decent at times for Everton.
At times.
Most of the
Wobie.
time, not look great.
Wobie's an awful sale, yeah.
Yeah,
why you'd sell him, I don't know.
From Everton,
For like 15 mil as
why
well,
would you
yeah.
do that? He was
Yeah.
he was a big, the heart of their midfield.
Exactly.
The GOAT. Alex Iwobi, the GOAT.
Yeah.
I
Better than Messi.
generally think Everton will go down. Like,
Do you know what, I hope so.
Do we want them to go down?
Absolutely.
well, I
I'm
think
in agreement there.
They've been like teetering for like 2-3 years.
Like,
I
look,
hope so.
you've been on the verge of collapsing for so long. Just collapse.
Yeah.
Just
I think they can go
Let it
down.
happen.
maybe
rebuild.
they need it to happen.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, go down, rebuild.
yeah.
Like,
Sell,
Stop trying to fight it.
sell these players
And
like Calvin.
I mentioned it last week, but they
Exactly.
do have probably the worst ownership in the league as well. Like,
Agree.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's such a toxic atmosphere. Like, the side of their team, they should be in like European places, and their fans have fed up. Like,
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
fans have ever since
Yeah,
they've been
seems pretty
ever since the Premier League started. The fans have got nothing apart from just staying in the Premier League.
Imagine
Yeah.
being an Everton fan right now. honestly.
Like, we're
Yeah.
up as Chelsea, but that's rough.
You've got a
Do you know what I
season
mean?
ticket.
It
You
is.
just watch your team lose at home to Luton. Like, that's mad.
Yeah.
What are you thinking about the rest of the season at that point?
Nothing.
I'd be
The
worried.
end.
I wouldn't go.
Yeah. I would never be confident going into a game that
No.
we could get a win.
And you can get anything.
Yeah.
Right, everyone. Is that what's that noise in the air? Can you hear it? It's because it's a new segment alert.
Damn.
Oh, look at that.
that's
Right, we're talking some quick fire predictions. Right, thank you very much, Lewis.
You're welcome.
Lewis, we'll start with you, my
God,
friend.
nervous.
There is a match tonight between Luton and Burnley.
Ooh.
Your prediction and why will Carlton Morris score and lead me to
Is it
FPL
at
glory?
Luton or is it at Burnley?
It's at Luton.
Oh, at Luton. Oh. I'm going to say a little 1-0 Luton.
1-0 Luton.
Home, being at home, I don't know. I'm just being optimistic for them.
Yeah,
they need.
They've just got their first win away from
Yeah,
home.
yeah. Confidence is high.
Bring the confidence into the home ground.
Yeah,
you know
but
what
I
I'm
never even
saying?
won yet. So
I like it.
Cole Morris.
Ed.
Goal.
I'm gonna
To
say
you. No, this is, I've given you a new fixture.
Oh, different
That's it,
fixture.
yeah,
Okay.
different fixture. This is a quick fire,
no,
you know?
no pressure.
So, it's also going to be Luton again. Luton versus Spurs. It's at Luton.
5-0 Luton. Sorry. Sorry.
It's not your fixture.
Sorry, I had to say
You're
it.
ruining the segment here.
Sorry.
4-0 Tottenham.
4-0 Tottenham. Sam, to you. Burnley against Chelsea. Is that Turf Moor?
I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm a Chelsea fan, and I generally
What do you predict if you're a
like.
Chelsea fan?
Yeah, like we won 2 games on the bounce, right, against Fulham and Brighton. Ugh.
The win streak is strong.
I'm gonna be optimistic and go 1-0 win to Chelsea.
1-0 win to Chelsea. I like it.
Someone
Okay.
said it.
That's as optimistic you can be as a Chelsea fan right now. You know.
Yeah. Without being delusional.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. No one could give me a quick fixture. Right, I'll give my fixture. Everton versus Bournemouth. It's at Goodison Park. I think Bournemouth get their first win in the season. I can't lie. 1-0 Bournemouth. That's
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Everton look bad.
I can see it.
They haven't looked very bad.
I see it now.
Let's be real.
No, yeah,
But
you're
also Bournemouth don't look great.
No, but they could sneak a 1-0 at the death.
I reckon it'll be goalless. Like, just nothing will
Yeah,
happen. I think it will be
just a completely
irrelevant.
uninspiring.
It will be one of the
boring
worst
drab
games
game.
Yeah.
ever. Like,
I'm saying
One of the worst games in history.
I'm saying a Dominic Solanke last minute winner. If that happens, by the way, I'll let you know the lottery results.
nice.
Okay, Ed, we're back to you.
Oh.
Craven Cottage, Fulham, Sheffield United.
1-0.
1-0. Lewis. Wait, Old Trafford. We got Man U versus Brentford.
Ooh. 0-0.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright.
you're being. That's actually quite nice to Man United.
Yes, yeah, I was.
Yeah.
I would say a Brentford win.
Yeah.
Same.
I just they need something. You know?
It's quick fire,
Need a break.
you know? Yeah.
It is
I'm
quick
not
fire.
fake,
Yeah,
but-
yeah.
Right. Selhurst Park. We got Palace against Nottingham Forest. Sam.
I'm glad I didn't get that one.
I'm going to go with a 0-0. Honestly, a
0-0?
0-0
Yeah.
draw,
It's gonna be a terrible week. For
It's
football.
so boring.
It's going to be a boring weekend for football. Yeah.
Right. I've
It's
got
gonna get the big one though.
Brighton against Liverpool.
That's a good game.
I'm gonna say a 2-1 Liverpool win.
Okay.
Fair.
Yeah. Okay. Ed, back to you. West Ham, Newcastle.
I'll go 2-2.
That'll be a good game.
That will be a good
That's
game.
probably going to be the best game of. Well, I've just seen your list. Actually. I've just seen your list. Actually, there is a big.
There is a big
That
game.
is going to be a good game. They both look really good, actually.
It could, but the big game could be cagey. That's probably going to be the best game on the field, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Entertainment.
Okay, we are all going to do the big game.
Okay.
That's going to be how the fixture. We'll pick out We'll pick out the best fixture beforehand, and we'll all give our predictions for that. So, Lewis, you're going to finish us off on the quick fire bit.
Okay.
Wolves versus Aston Villa. It's at Wolves.
Oh, exciting.
It's a thriller, that one.
2-0 Villa.
2-0 Villa.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're all going to quick fire it for Arsenal Man City. Ed, we'll start with
If Rodri
you.
was playing, I would say a very confident and convincing City win, but I'll go... Honestly... Oh, no, I can't go against Pep. 2-1 City.
Okay, Lewis,
I'll say 1-0.
Sam.
I'm going for a 3-2 Arsenal win.
Okay, yeah.
Ooh.
I hope that happens.
There's going to be a lot of goals. A lot of goals.
I'm going for a 2-2 draw.
Interesting.
Nice.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of goals.
I think there will be a lot of
It won't
goals.
be like 2-1. It'll be like 3-2, I think.
Yeah.
I might be wrong. It might be.
You've got one person with an Arsenal win, one person with a City win, and
And
2
2
draws.
2 draws, yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Look at
balance.
Yeah, someone's got to be right.
That's all
Yeah.
we should do.
Right,
It probably will be Michael. Let's be honest.
right. We're going to be jumping in to our last segment. We're going to be talking some FPL.
God.
And obviously, we did our transfers last week. We're going to be talking about how we did. Lewis! Wait, actually, you're still getting yours up. So
Yeah.
I'll talk through how I did first and how I'm a genius. Because Carlton Morris has already got 8 points and he's playing Burnley tonight. So a hat trick, Carlton, if you're listening, please. So yeah, Areola got me 6. Estupiñán had a bad week. Udogie got 1. Gvardiol didn't play, so I got 0 points there. Matoma got a point. Eze got 6. Foden 2. Maddison 2. Son got a goal, so obviously he got 7. Haaland's the captain. Why wouldn't he be? He's got 4. And then Carlton Morris got 8. So we've dropped to 4th, but Carlton Morrison could hop us back up to 3rd if he gets more than 3 points.
Who do you want to go next?
I don't man. Who's
After you,
ready?
Sam.
Oh, thank you, Lewis.
You're welcome.
So, I'd say I've had an okay game week, but I'm looking at my bench, and my bench had a really good game week. Thiago Silva got 8, Ben White got 14, and Almiron got 10 points, and that's my bench.
that is
Lewis's
pain.
And then I started Estupiñán, who got -2, and then Tonali and Mitoma, who both got a point each.
Oh, that's pain.
So if I had, oh god, no, it was a bit of a mixed bag this week. I'm really glad I put in Son. I know, did he didn't score, did he? No, he didn't.
he
did.
did. He did.
He did score. Yeah. I'm glad I put him in, and I'm glad I put Kieran Trippier in as well. I mean, if you have a Newcastle player in, you definitely would be lucky because,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
because of that. Yeah. No, I don't know whether I need to make any changes. Probably just to the lineup. Like I'd probably put in like Ben White and Almiron. Well, would you boys say it's a risk having Arsenal and City players this weekend?
No, as long as they're not defenders.
As long as they're not defenders, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say any attack. If anything, I'd have attackers from both.
Lewis's attack is just Arsenal and Man City, isn't
No, I've
it?
got a City defender and an Arsenal defender. I'm going to say no defenders. So changes to be made.
Well, you can make your own decision there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do what you
I
want
mean,
to.
Well, I'm last. So
I mean, you are last,
Yeah.
so you know
I need to
there's
fix
no
up,
risk.
To be honest.
You're a late bloomer.
Hopefully, come back. Come back. We're gonna
To be
win.
fair,
find your form.
to be fair, you're not a million miles off ninth.
I'll catch Sam up. Sam's
Yeah.
in what, 8th?
Yeah, I'm
Eighth.
currently leading.
Sam,
Yeah.
you're in trouble.
I'm in trouble, yeah.
We will be there. I don't even know anymore. I made 2 changes. One of them with Ed's guidance
Well, let's not talk about that.
Was
Okay,
to
I
put-
guess I outed you.
was
so.
to put Doku in, and he just got 1 point.
Electrifying.
Average. I don't even know. Just not going very well, to be
You should
honest.
probably take him out, honestly.
No,
Mate, he's only got 1 free transfer.
Yeah, have I?
Yeah, and he
yeah,
can't.
yeah.
He can't lose points. He's already lost. He
I've
needs
just
every
realised.
point.
point.
I've just realised, by the way, that I did free hits only last for a week, don't they?
Yeah.
I have a chance. Is what
Don't
you're
worry,
saying.
Sam.
This is what I'm hearing. I've got a chance.
Come on,
It's only up.
let's. I believe in you.
Oh.
As long as you don't overtake me, I don't believe in you that much.
We'll see. Well, this time next week,
Yeah,
We agree there.
I think there is something that Michael has been wanting to talk about for a while in terms of the FPL.
Oh.
I mean, we talked about, Michael came out with this interesting idea for his team to play Carlton Morris. Carlton Morris, the go as striker, and what a good decision you made, Michael. Honestly,
Well done.
Well,
Inspired.
unless he gets sent off tonight or something.
yeah.
Mate, if he gets 1 point, he'll have 9. That's like genius.
That's more than all my forwards.
Yeah, same.
just for reference.
he'll have over double. He's already got double Haaland's points
I know.
this game week. All I'm saying, Carlton
better
Morrison
player.
supremacy. Anyone?
Carlton Morris.
All I'm saying.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Sam. Yeah,
Yeah, a little shout out. That's quite
yeah,
nice.
I like it.
Yeah.
Right, that is all we've got time for this week. It's been a pleasure being on the pitch once again. I want to give a big thank you to our regulars, Ed, Lewis, and Sam.
Thank you.
And to me as well. Obviously, if you're watching this on YouTube, please give us a like, give us a subscribe. On Spotify, give us a 5-star. And yeah, we'll be seeing you next week.
Like and subscribe, or you'll sign in for Sheffield United. That's all.
There we go.
What he said.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Peace, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.